It's time for Top Dice. Hi, and welcome to Top Dice. I'm Aid, and I've got my usual co-host Chris with me. Please click like and subscribe. The more you actually subscribe, and the more people that do subscribe to this, the more audience will actually sort of reach. It's a community channel, and it's here for you. Right, today we're going to be discussing, Chris,
Um,
copyright and copyright theft.
and plagiarism and
Yep.
everything else that goes with it.
Okay. So this comes about from something that's happened quite recently regarding Basic Fantasy. I think you've got a copy there of you, Chris. Now,
Uh,
Basic Fantasy is an indie game. It's Chris Gunnison, I think, who's actually sort of does this one.
that's correct.
It's OSR, so that's old school rules for those who aren't sure what OSR is. And its a port over is the game from the original basic Dungeons and Dragons, and also includes experts. I think a bit of the companion set in there as well. And Chris has put his own take on this particular rule set and
Uh,
re-released it. The cost of the original sets can get quite astronomical. So this is a great way, this particular game, of basically reliving old memories, especially if you're an old gamer like myself who started off back in the day. And it is a good, solid rules system. It works very well. And Chris has spent a lot of time on actually getting this product out in print, and it costs next to nothing. That's the other thing. I think it's about 6, 7 quid for the actual core rules or something like that. And that's printed. And you can get it from Amazon, Drive Through RPG, quite a few different locations. Anyway, that's by and by. This is all about an incident that actually happened. Chris, over to you about what's gone on here.
yeah, basically, people discovered that somebody had lifted the entire work of Chris around the basic fantasy, not just the rule book, but adventures, and basically removed the initial sort of credits acknowledgements page and created their own and put their own name on it, and changed little bits of the artwork.
New front cover as well.
Yes,
That's basically, and retitled it.
and also retitled it to a name that is very similar to to an old 80s Swedish role-playing game. So you've got two instances of plagiarism, copyright theft, or what there's it's awful things have been done by an unscrupulous person. And obviously there was outcry about it. Subsequently, it has been removed from various sites. The company who put this out, I'm not going to give them credit. I'm not going to say their name. They don't deserve it. Their website is still active. They are still selling these products. I'm not advertising them. I want to advertise these guys. If you want the original, buy the original Basic Fantasy. It's now in its 4th edition.
Easy to find on Amazon and also on Drive Through Role Playing Games. It's
the guy who wrote it, because he put the work in. He's gone in and as you're allowed to do, filed off the edge, the numbers of the what it's based on, influenced by, and he's created his own game and gone forward with new art, adventure ideas. I believe there is also a supplement book for his own house rules, which he's put out, which is really good. but also he's put this out under the I'm going to read it so I get it right. The Open Game License version 1.0A. That's what he's put it out under. He's done it all. He's done it all above board, all legitimately or correctly.
Yeah, so what that actually means is that you can actually create supplements or use parts of it in your own game. And the whole point was to make it open for the community. So the community could create products based around it without using any of the copyrighted elements such as art. And again, not using all the words per se, basically putting their own spin on things on that.
Yeah.
And that is what it's actually sort of all about. So you could create your own adventure and release it for sale. Now he has about must be 20 odd supplements, I think, now for it. Does Basic Fantasy, very comprehensive, and I keep saying it's good. It is a good, solid system, tried and tested. However, the issue here is this particular individual, in their infinite wisdom, decided to steal the book. They replaced the cover with a more lurid, more, I suppose, AI artish cover.
Yeah.
They renamed it to sound a bit more like Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not going to give the title of it actually here. If you start googling, I'm sure you'll soon find it. And on the credits page, credited himself as the author and also changed the dedications actually in it, but left most of the other bits and pieces actually in there. And I think he sort of put something about it was the first edition or something like that of whatever. But anyway, this is basically it. Stole the property, put it out there, and put it for sale. And it will have actually made him a fair bit of money. Now, why did he actually do this? Well, financial reasons for one. That would be a good one. They might say, well, you won't get that much, but it's quite easy and simple to sort of knock up a book like that and basically steal it. So, yeah, that's out there. Other reasons, well, who exactly sort of knows? He's still selling it on his own page, and it's still available from there. And whether they'll actually take it down, I don't know.
From what I've had a look, I need to go in and check out, check my facts properly. But on first glance, having been through the catalogue on the individual's website who've ripped off Basic Fantasy, let's call it what it is, rip off. They appear to have ripped off other games as well, and possibly other systems. Now, I'm not sure about that at the moment. I need to go in for a little bit more.
We suspect, looking from what we've actually sort of seen, we suspect it's other classic era, so 1970s, 80s games. Again, classic role-playing games.
There is a what looks like their version of a particularly popular sci-fi sort of space exploration game, and there is one based around modern day sort of soldiers doing secret missions.
Yeah,
put it that way.
Yeah, so this is why would someone do this? I'm guessing like I keep going back to it is financial. That's the only reason actually sort of for it. It won't be a huge amount of money they actually sort of make from it, but if they get 4 or 5 sales a week over the space of a year, it's soon going to add up for very little actually effort on their behalf. The printing costs on these through, well, whatever printing source, it can be very cheap. I know if you use Amazon now, it has been removed from Amazon, and it has also been removed as well from DriveThruRPG. It had been on there, and there were some discussions about whether it would be able to be removed from drive-through, but Chris has obviously reached out, and it's gone from there now too. So that's quite a blessing, is that. As far as we're aware, unless you tell us otherwise, the only place you can currently get it is actually on this person's own website. I believe it was on Amazon Canada as well. That was one of the other.
I'm not sure if that's still there or not. I'm
No,
not.
I believe that's gone now. That's actually
Um,
vanished.
Thing is, though, if he'd done this properly, he would have been able to stand side by side with the likes of Chris and Basic Fantasy and others like it who have all done the similar thing, where basically they have gone in and altered the wording and created, in some cases, their own additional rule mechanics and things like that, and added their own art. And he would have been able to stand head and shoulders with his fellow game creators, and legally sell a product with no controversy or issue. But when you blatantly steal something, you need to be held to account. People have put in the hard work for this. You can't just slap another cover on it and go, look what I've written. I couldn't take a particularly popular novel series about magic users in a school and put my name on it and call it my own. I'd be bankrupted through the legal system, quite rightly so.
Oh God, yeah, you'd be. Can you
Yeah.
imagine it? Can you imagine if I went ahead and decided to call this a guide to Reichsuber or something like that? Uh,
Uh,
Cubicle 7 will get very upset, but also I think Games Workshop will be on my case
exactly. I
very
mean,
quickly.
people have sailed quite close. It's like the guy who's written the Warhammer Fantasy First and Second Edition clone. He's very, very lucky that he hasn't been sued back to the Stone Age, because personally, if I was Games Workshop, I'd have ruined him, because that is cheeky. What he did.
Well, yeah, it's not a very good.
It's a
He's the extra bits that he put in there, certainly the first edition that I had, the way that combat actually sort of worked. If you got hit at the beginning of a combat round, you could bleed out very quickly and be dead by the time you got round to acting, and it was a bit of a mess too. But yeah, he nicked quite a lot out of the original Warhammer Fantasy role play rules.
I respect that people are going to like his stuff and going to buy it, but personally, I also view that particular clone of Warhammer Fantasy as plagiarized. That's my view.
I'm a bit of the same, and also the author I'm not a great fan of, and their basic outlook on life and attitude generally. But anyway,
anyway,
enough on that. We're talking about basic fantasy here on this particular one, or in fact, plagiarism and copyright theft in general. So many games are very similar to each other out there. There's thousands of role playing games now, but with the majority of them, there isn't an issue. As long as you've actually put your own take on it, you've actually written the words yourself rather than copied them word for word from the original source, then it's absolutely great. There's clones out there for Top Secret, Boot Hill, Chill, the original version of Chill's out there. There's versions of Paranoia, Ghostbusters. There's all sorts, but each with their own little take on it, and that's what makes it the author's property. and that's what you need to. That's the right way to actually sort of do it. It'd be very difficult, I think, to come up with a fully original rule set now. It will happen, I'm sure, at some stage. It's something so different, so unusual that it doesn't bear any resemblance to anything. But that's not happening at the moment. But I'm quite happy with the games I'm actually sort of seeing. I must admit, quite a lot of the indie stuff that I bought recently, I've enjoyed and I've liked. There's Jay's Delve. That's coming. That's a new edition of that coming out. Obviously, we've talked about that recently. Chivalry and Sorcery, the way that's developed is looking absolutely brilliant. There's the new Pendragon. There's so many good, nice games out there, and the new versions, variants, etc. They're all pretty damn good. But then, of course, you get this Muppet, unfortunately, who
Uh,
decides to
it's not the. I mean, it's not
steal.
to steal it and just basically claim full credit. It's not the first time this has happened
No,
within the last year. There was a game produced by
TSR, Star Frontiers.
there's that.
Yeah, that's the big one.
There was also the initial sort of, I think it was the playtest release of a sort of horror investigation game by a well-known group of people who live stream, who basically did not give credit for the rule system that they used, and basically claimed it as their own. That is plagiaristic theft,
Yeah,
whichever way you look at it.
yeah,
I'm not naming the individuals. We all know who I'm talking about. We all know the game I'm talking about. If you don't credit what you're based on, you're a thief.
yeah.
Lads.
Anyway, right. Well,
So that's that.
yeah.
Um,
Draw a line under this one for now, but it's certainly an interesting subject. How
so
games evolve or can evolve, but
yeah,
also those that don't, and the need to sort of claim that you've actually written something or designed something when actually you've not.
and
Um,
this is a very, very good warning to anyone who's thinking about starting out and writing something, putting a game out there, because it is quite. Well, it's easier now than it's ever been to
yeah,
produce your own material. There are amazing licenses that are being produced to make your life easier as a content creator. Read them, have a look at what's going on, and make sure that you're not leaving yourself open to any sort of
controversy basically on this front, isn't it?
may could be take on your behalf. Have a look, contact the original creators. Asking permission is never a bad thing, because half the time the people that have created these games and these licenses love the fact that people are coming in and going,
Yeah,
oh, here's a different spin. It's what they're in the industry for. They love the creative divergency.
yeah, which is what it's all about. Right. Okay. Well, we'll wrap up another edition of Top Dice. Thanks very much for joining us. I'm Ed, that's Chris. Do remember to please subscribe, click like, and we'll see you for the next one, which hopefully will be very, very, very soon. Catch you soon. Bye bye.